All right, something I'd like to cover before we get started doing any tuning is that this car has a very low ground clearance. Now, there's a lot of hot rodders out there to tell you that's good, that we want low. And we do for the most part. But then there's too low where it's dragging the track, and that's not a good thing. So before you get started on this car, you need to know that the ground clearance that Scalextric has here is pretty good. In perspective, this is a standard popsicle stick, just a shade over 2 millimeter, and as you can just see, it picks the car up. It doesn't clear. This is a that's too thick right there, 2.5 millimeters. So I made a shim about 1.55, sanded it down a little bit, and it clears. So that's about as low as you're going to get, 1.5 millimeter, and you should clear the track. So you could do this using shims, or you can pick it up and just simply look underneath to make sure you're not dragging the track. What I've done with my other static block is I've just put my shim right here, and as I'm working with the car, I'm placing it on the block, and then I can pick it up and I can look underneath and I can make sure that it's clearing and I haven't set the car too low. So it's just one thing to think about. The reason I bring this up is a lot of people in the past with some cars, and they did need it, where they would reduce the diameter of the tires to drop the car down. For magnet racers, bringing the magnet closer to the track, lowering the center of gravity. Well, you can only go so far with this one. So right out of the box, this thing is pretty low. These are the stock tires that have been unsanded, unmolested, so to speak. So you can't go very far. So we're going to do some tire work and everything, and we're going to do some tire truing with some aftermarket tires. But it's something you need to be aware of as far as tuning these cars, because if you go too far, you're dragging the track. Now, that being said, your track surface dictates that. My track surface, the wood track we're tuning for, is flat. So I can go past that a little bit. As long as the chassis isn't dragging the ground, then we're good. We don't have very strict rules around here. Your track might be different. So it's just something for you to be aware of. So like I said, we test it as we go. You check your car as you go. This car here is the one we're working on. This has the new Paul gauge tires on it that we sanded and trued. And it's brought the clearance down to about 1.05. So we've went from 155, 156 down to 105 track clearance. So right around 1 millimeter. So we don't have a whole lot to work with here. So if you go down too low, then you're going to start dragging the track, and you don't want that. But we still have the clearance. It'll clear our track here just fine. But this is something that, a lot of clubs, different clubs, tracks, have different rules on this clearance right here. So you have to make sure that you stay within your club or track rules. Out here we really don't have them. If it clears, and we're going to go racing. But again, this is something to think about when you're starting to sand and true these tires or trying on different size tires, that there's going to be a limit on how low you can go. To me, that's low enough, and we're going to give it a go.